This story is about a girl who, in order to quench her thirst, falls in love with her own servant and has clapped with him in the jungle many times. So will that servant be able to make that girl's dry field green? Do subscribe to the channel and comment and let us know how you liked the video. In the beginning of the movie, we see two sisters, one named Coney and the other named Delta. Coney loved an army man, so she marries him, whose name was Clifford. After getting married, both of them visit heaven together. But the very next day, Cliff has to go back to the army because he was a soldier. But during the war, Clifford gets paralysis and he is sent home. When Coney comes to know that the Clifford pump is no longer useful, now how water will come out of my well. After this, Clifford and Coney come to an old mansion in their village. After coming here, Coney takes good care of Cliff. She feeds him, bathes him, and changes his clothes. Even after Cliff becomes handicapped, Coney lives well with him. But deep inside, she feels that her desire only be fulfilled with a hand pump. But Cliff could never fulfill this desire of her because his hand pump was not working and she was desperate to do. So she puts Cliff's hand on her butterfly because if not with a hand pump, then wet my field with your hand. But Clifford rejected it. Well, Cliff had become a writer after coming here, in which she also helped him in every way. But Coney was also missing her sister Delta a lot, because after coming here she was left alone. The next day, Coney takes Clifford to the place where Clifford used to come in his childhood. He tells Clifton that we need to take our lineage forward, but you can understand that my hand pump is of no use, and neither can I do with you. So if you want, we can take our lineage forward by making our field green with someone else's hand pump. Hearing this, Coney says that, have you gone mad? I am going to someone else's hand pump. Why don't you go and irrigate your field with a hand pump? Coney was very happy inside, but she was showing Cliff that she doesn't need anyone else's hand pump. So Cliff also starts convincing Coney that you should listen to me if we have to take our lineage forward, and I have full faith in you. Whoever you will be chatting with will be the right man, because it is a question of our family's respect. Well, after this, both of them come home. After a few days, Coney's sister Delta comes to meet him, who after seeing Coney understands that while taking care of Clifford, she had forgotten to take care of herself. So Delta hires a maid to take care of Clifford and will take care of you, and Coney will go out for a walk from now on. After which, Coney goes to roam alone in the forest. Then her eyes fall on a man bathing there. Seeing him, Coney's desire was awakened. So Coney goes and talks to that man whose name was Oliver. When Coney talks to him, she comes to know that Oliver works for Clifford, but Coney doesn't care about that. She only wants to quench her thirst. When Coney asks Oliver about his family, she comes to know that Oliver's wife had drunk water from many hand pumps. That's why Oliver divorced her. After the conversation is over, Coney comes home where she remembers Oliver and starts wetting her field herself. Don't look too carefully, you might get an eyeful. Well, the next day, Coney goes for a walk in the forest again where she sees Oliver in a house. Coney goes to him and starts talking to him. Coney was feeling good talking to Oliver, so she kept looking at him. Coney kept coming to meet Oliver for many days, but one day when Coney goes to meet Oliver, she is unable to control herself and sticks to Oliver and tries to kiss him. But Oliver refuses to kiss Coney because he was just a servant of Coney. But Coney's butterfly was flying away, so she somehow convinces Oliver to kiss her, and Oliver also completely wets Coney's field with his head pump, which makes Coney very happy, because after so many days, she drank water from the hand pump. After getting free, Coney comes back home, but she had a lot of fun clapping with Oliver. So the next day, she again reaches the same place to meet Oliver, and again starts clapping with him, because now she had started liking Oliver's weapon a lot. Oliver also waters Coney's field well, and in the evening he goes to drop Coney to her house. Well, in this way every day, Coney started going to Oliver to get her field wet, due to which Coney had now become addicted to Oliver's hand pump. So she started staying with Oliver all the time. Wherever both of them got a place, the war would start, sometimes in the forest, sometimes somewhere. In this way, Oliver started keeping Coney happy. After a few days later, Coney notices that her watermelons have become bigger than before. That is, Coney was now pregnant. So the next day, she tells Cliff that she and her sister are going to London to see the 8 Show of Dead. So Cliff also understands it. That maybe Coney has agreed to take the lineage forward. That's why she must be going to London. But that poor guy doesn't know that the pot was filled by his own servant. But she wanted to show to Clifford that the pot belonged to some rich man of London. Well, Cliff was very happy with this because now his lineage was going to move forward. At night, Coney goes to meet Oliver and tells him that she is going out and will return after a month or two. Coney also tells him that I am pregnant and I have told Cliff about this. Then Oliver asks Coney that what did you tell Cliff? Who is the real father of this child? Coney tells that I am going out only so that Cliff thinks that this is the child of a rich person so that he can have control over you. Hearing this, Oliver gets angry and tells Coney that you used to come to me to operate the hand pump so that you can get a child and you have taken advantage of me. And he starts scolding Coney loudly, due to which Coney gets angry and leaves from there, but forgets her diary with Oliver. The next day, Coney takes Cliff out for a walk, but Clifford was suddenly stuck, so Cliff calls Oliver to help. Coney tries to talk to Oliver secretly, but Oliver ignores her and leaves from there, due to which Coney also gets very angry at Cliff because she was tired. At night, Coney goes back to Oliver's house to meet him, where she says sorry to him and tells Oliver that I did not come to you for the child. I have started loving you, and I cannot live without you, even if I have to divorce Cliff for this. Both of them were talking to each other when it starts raining. Then Coney goes to take a bath in the rain without clothes, and Oliver also runs with her. Meanwhile, in the mansion, Cliff was getting upset because of Coney not coming, so he sends his servant to the forest to find Coney. When the maid goes to the forest, she sees Coney and Oliver having fun together, so the servant quickly goes home with Coney. Cliff gets very angry at him, due to which Coney also gets angry with Cliff, and leaves from there without answering. The next day, Coney's sister Delta came to pick her up. Coney is very happy to see Delta, and Coney also tells her about Oliver, that how she plays with Oliver's hand pump, and she has started loving him. But Delta was surprised to hear that Coney got only a servant to love, so she gets angry at Coney and tells him to leave Oliver, but Coney refuses to leave Oliver and asks to meet her before leaving. After this, Delta tells Cliff and leaves from there with Coney. But before leaving, Coney takes Delta to meet Oliver, where Delta tells Oliver that the secret of both of you is only till this hut. But when Cliff comes to know about this, he will fire you from the job. After that, how will you keep Coney happy? And this is right till wetting Coney's field with the pump, but how will you keep Coney happy without money? Saying this, Delta leaves from there. Oliver had also understood Delta's point, so he tells Coney that we will have to think about our future. But Coney was happy only by clapping, and she was going to leave tomorrow, so she claps with Oliver for the last time and waters her field. The next morning, Delta had come to pick Coney up, so Oliver says bye to Coney for the last time, and Coney comes to her house with her sister, where Coney was feeling very lonely. On the other hand, after Oliver went out, his wife's brother comes to his house and starts looking around. Then he finds some of Coney's clothes and a book written by her which was left there, after which he tells all the villagers that his mistress is having an affair with Oliver, and this news spreads like fire in the whole village. Now Clifford also came to know about this, so he calls Oliver to him and asks him that I have heard, is it true that you have watered my wife's field with your hand pump? But Oliver does not give any answer to this. Then Oliver is fired from the job. He throws him out and also warns him to leave the village by evening. The maid of the house also hears all this, so she quickly calls Coney and tells her everything. Coney also quickly returns from London. Coney first goes to meet Oliver, where Oliver was preparing to leave. Coney tells him that we should run away from here, but Oliver refuses, saying that we cannot run away because I neither have a house to live in nor a job, so you will have to stay here, and you don't worry. I will definitely come to pick you up after earning money. Saying this, Oliver leaves from there. Coney also goes to her husband with a sad face and says to her husband that you were the one who gave this idea that you can get your field plowed by anyone. Now the crop has been harvested, then you are refusing. Cliff also says that yes, I said this, but I also said that you should get your field plowed by an outsider, but not by your own servant. And this thing is spread in the whole village. That's why I cannot adopt this child. Hearing this, Coney asks Cliff to divorce her because now she does not want to live with Clifford. Clifford feels very bad about this and he starts crying in front of Coney, but Coney does not have any mercy on him, and she leaves him and comes back to her city, London. After coming here, Coney feels lonely and is always lost in the memories of Oliver's hand pump. In London also, everyone had come to know about Coney's story, so everyone looked at her with suspicious eyes. One day, Delta gives Coney a letter which was from Oliver, who calls her to a place to meet. Coney also goes to meet him, where both are very happy to meet each other, because now Coney has found someone who can fulfill all her needs. And with this, the love story of a mistress and servant ends. Do tell us how you liked their story by commenting. Thanks for watching.